easier, and our friends at TCE. Yeah, oh, what has it? We'll just close it. Okay. Yes. Are we starting? Yeah, it's starting. Okay. Okay. Good morning. We're gonna try to do some fancy stuff with our Serio session this time around. So welcome. I'm Isabel Isa from For the Greater Good.
I'm Blanca. And I'm Elida Castillo from Chisa, Texas.
And so we're super happy to be back in person. And you know, Elida's back from Germany. And before we really get started, we wanted to turn it over to Elida because she actually had a really, I think, important question to ask us, all of us, not just us. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So this was something that, you know, just while being in Germany, like just started to compare where we are here. And it was kind of like reinforced like when we had a visioning session earlier this week. And I just want everybody to close their eyes and just think of what is it that we really want? Like envision this community and what does your perfect community look like? And just take a few minutes and just close your eyes and envision that. We're going to cut this for our sake because of time. But just take that piece and really like think. For me, I mean, well, I don't want to start like, let's start down this road.
Start fresh
Lens.
lens from traveling, and something about that traveling makes you appreciate home more. So yeah, go first.
So for me, I envision a community that we saw, like there were green spaces. The families were able to take time out of their day and go to these parks and spend time there. Like there was parks all over the place. There were trees everywhere. You know, children were able to leave the classroom and walk to these parks or different areas. We also had access to public transportation that was convenient. If we missed the bus, because it happened several times because we weren't familiar with Hamburg, you know, 5 minutes later, there was another bus like ready to come and pick us up, or, you know, a train, like it was, you know, so there was lots of convenient transportation. And it just, you know, and bikes everywhere. Like there were cars, but people were able to use their bikes and, you know, just like walk. I feel like I lost weight. I gained it back since I've been back. But, you know, it was just so amazing. And, you know, the first thing that we did when we got there is like we turned on the tap and like poured ourselves some water from the tap because it was like,
Yeah.
we can drink the water
Yeah.
from here. And that was just like, boom. Yeah.
I remember being able to do that as a kid. Remember?
Even from the manguera.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that was the rule. You weren't supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you leave that?
And now, like, and then I got home and when I like turned on the tap water at home, like I smelled like chlorine. I was like, oh shoot, like I'm back to like reality here. But according to that, like that vision, going back to that vision, does that have to be a reality?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And really, I think we have more power than we think just to change that reality. We do. We have more power because what I'm finding is these plans and these scams cannot happen without our consent and without our money. And so we do have a choice. We do have a voice and we should use it.
Yeah. So do y'all want to share like what you?
What's your ideal?
I think my ideal would be, you know, for now, short term would just be clean water, protecting our bay. I think I have seen a little bit of what I dream about in our town whenever I see, you know, things happening by the bayfront and I see people coming together, and it's like we do have some community all around the bay, you know, like the free concerts in the summer, and like even just going down to like Water's Edge Park and just sitting there and just people watching and just I think preserving that and not losing that for me is like short-term a dream, to just be able to hold on to that and to hold on to those spaces in San Pat in Portland.
Yeah.
Like where my parents live, like where the port wants to put a decel on private property that's gonna affect property owners right there, like if those people were able to preserve that, to preserve their property rights and to preserve this so that kids can fish and kids can kayak and people can continue to kite surf out there. Basically, I guess what I'm saying is just I'd be satisfied with just preserving what we have right now and then growing from there. That's me.
So for me, I would like to see the kind of parks that are dedicated to the areas that are touristy. Like throughout our community, everybody deserves to
Yeah.
have these parks that are enjoyable and there's water and things to do. I would like to be able to ride my bike to work. I'm starting a new job, and so my job's actually further, and I want to be able to ride my bike and not be scared of getting hit. I would love, because I love going to the beach so much. And I was thinking, like, I go all the way out to the National Seashore. Like, I would love to be able to just go down here to the bay, right across this, right across the way. And, a couple of minute walk, a couple of minute drive, and be able to put my kayak in the bay and not have to worry about caca water. Like, that's been my ideal. I could just go to the bay. Because one time when they did the beach by the university, we're like, oh my God, the beach. I took the kids out there and we tried to go swimming, and then I was itchy. So then we went to the university back in the day when you could go to the university, and we used their showers to rinse off, because I was like, I don't know what's in the water, but it's itching me. So anyway, that's my ideal. That's my ideal.
So that reminds me of my niece, like when we went to McGee Beach, like, I was like, oh, did you get in the water? She was like, no. She was like, she tried it, and she's like, it's dirty. 5 years old. And say, oh no,
To be
it's
able
dirty.
to do that.
Yeah. So, but like we do have so many beautiful resources here. And
We
it's
do.
just,
We do.
and people, like, we are awesome.
Like what you're describing is a lot of how my kids have been blessed with being able to do, go to grandma's and get their kayak, put it in the water and just go, and that's, I think my parents always wanted to have that for them. And for us, it's like, that's being taken now. Like my children are gonna go from a life of remembering when they were able to do that to when that's just a memory.
So, and I actually kind of coming back to circle, because I do want to talk a little bit about, we've been putting some videos up that have been, I would say, kind of, we've been picando. But really just showing you what they're saying. Right?
I was accused of being unhappy or something, and the thing is, facts are friendly. Facts should be friendly. Facts are facts, and if facts bother you, then
do something about it. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is that for so long, our public officials have been banking on the fact that there'll be public comments, there'll be public meetings, but nobody's going to pay attention and nobody's going to give their 2 cents. And so, they have these like public meetings, but they really don't want your input, but it's our right. And they are supposed to work for us, not work for industry. Oh, so that's another one of my ideals, that when the decision-making happens, that we center, one for me, vulnerable populations and the environment. Those 2 things are really important, because if you can take care of the quality of life for marginalized and vulnerable communities, actually everybody benefits from that. So there's nothing wrong with supporting and creating a more healthy community. And I think that's too, like, remember, because somebody asked something to the effect of like, well, or were you against people taking short showers or being fined? Well, that's the thing, like, we need to foster community so that we're all invested in saving our water, but why is it that we have to be living with guilt? Why is it that we have to be worried when they're giving 14,000 gallons of water away a day to one company?
Yeah.
Right, it's not
Who
fair.
who doesn't have to exempt from anything?
Yeah, and they don't pay taxes, they pollute our environment. Oh my God,
Yeah.
did you see that picture of the like sky being? We'll drop it,
Yeah.
I'll drop the picture in the
Yeah.
Zoom. It's like, they pollute our environment, they use our water, they use electricity.
Yeah,
Right, we have to pay, I mean, it's always bright on the other side of the bay.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
so they sacrifice nothing.
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 And I think one of the things that really bothered me was some conversations came up about how, you know, corporations provide employment and nothing is free. I think that's been like a common thing here lately, how nothing is free. And when I was looking through, and I even have read comments about you work hard and go, well, I'm here to tell you all that my family, my parents have worked their entire lives to own something that their grandkids could enjoy. And to have something and to preserve this little piece, and we're never handed anything, we're no tax abatements, no nothing. And because someone said, I want that, I need that, their property owner rights are completely trampled. And one of the things that, you know, I see in this regional water plan, you know, that is that everything here starts with the assumption that the water in the bay is free. It's written in their plans, the water in the bay is free. So nothing's free unless you're an Exxon, unless you're the most powerful corporation, then properties are free. Natural resources are free. It is written, and I'll drop it in the comments. That is the basis of their entire business model, is assuming that the water in Corpus Christi Bay is free and unlimited.
And that's so, you know, I know like the Port of Corpus Christi owns some of the water, like,
Right.
you know. But if we were to just capture, like build a pool, like, you know, some walls around that,
Yeah.
what they want to sell to industry
Yeah.
exceeds what they own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're saying like the entire bay is
Yeah, is ours, is free for the taking.
free for the taking, but
Yeah.
that they own the entire thing, and that's like, that's our bay.
Yeah,
And the other thing I think too is this idea of what free is, because
Right.
there are always consequences for the choices that we make.
right,
And those, and the cost of those consequences, the impact is never calculated in the decision-making that they have. So the brine, right?
Right.
The
Mhm.
pollution, it's not gonna be free. It's gonna cost us our health.
Right.
Our kids aren't gonna wanna live here. Other communities, fishing, going to the beach, walking along the bay, like there's so many things that are gonna be negatively impacted.
one of the things in the water plan that's one of the environmental issues says impact on the bays from removing water for consumptive use and altering existing power plant water rights permits. So there is an impact, this idea that it's there for the taking, there's an impact. Those people who say nothing is free, it's the same thing with our natural resources.
Yeah.
They're not free.
Yeah.
These people are gonna sell this for top dollar. And they're saying to us, it's not worth anything. They're saying to us, your property is not worth anything. You don't have rights there. Forget what the law says. And so, yeah, there is this idea that, and that's what I'm struggling with, this idea that's coming from a lot of local leaders, that and I've heard it said that the bay, for all intents and purposes, is unlimited. The Gulf of Mexico is unlimited.
Yeah.
And it's that idea, we should all be old enough now
Yeah.
to know that nothing's free and nothing comes without consequences.
Right,
Like you said.
yeah, somebody even said, well, the earth is 80% water. You know what, that's the
For
other
a
thing, like,
reason.
and the other, and we have to stop thinking about things that like, this is mine and we can consume it And it doesn't matter what happens to the ecosystem and to the birds and to the larvae and everything that's interconnected. We are just now coming to understand how interconnected, well, I should say, the Western world is just now coming to understand how interconnected every facet of our existence is. And so there are these unintended consequences. And for me personally, I'm like, that's not mine. Like, I have the privilege to be able to live next to it and to enjoy it. But it's not mine. And in order for me to be able to, like I'm a part of it, but it's not mine. And I don't have the right. I wouldn't want somebody coming in and going, you know what, your life isn't worth it. You're just a human. This is so much, like Exxon needs this. I wouldn't want that for me. So why should I want that for other things, especially when something like the Bay just enhances our quality of life? Like, do you ever go to the beach and like the waves are cracking and then all of a sudden you're like, like that is so soothing and beautiful. And like I'll ride my bike and I'm like, it's so pretty. Like I literally get super emotional. It's not, and like when people are like, well, we'll get the groundwater. What are you gonna, what kind of impact is that gonna have? We never really understand the scope of the impact that we could do.
Right.
So I don't, it just makes me sad, like that it's only valuable if it's valuable to industry, you know, I mean, that's crazy.
It is.
Like, we want it for recreation, we want it for, you know, to take advantage of it, to spend time there with our families. You know, we think like it's only here for us, but so many families who are like, hey, let's go to Corpus. You know, from like San Antonio, from like, you know, all over, they come here. Like spring breakers, like they come here, like they're actually investing in the community, where a lot of these other corporations are taking
Just extract
from the community. And they don't live here. That at the end of the day, they're not from here. They don't live here. I remember like where actually I met you and your dad, Blanca. At that meeting, there was a representative from Blue Water, and Blue Water is a project that they want to build right off, like, you know, Port Aransas and Redfish Bay. They want to run a 55-mile pipeline that's going to take crude from a storage tank there in Taft, through the back roads, going through Gregory, Aransas Pass, through Redfish Bay. And then like they want to build 2 deep water export terminals to export crude, and crude is petrol, is gas. It's what we put in our cars. So we'll be exporting that. And then what does that mean for us? Like, I know people say like, well, if you drill more, if you do, like, your gas prices will go down. We live like in the belly of the beast where this is happening, and our gas prices
Never went down.
Never went down. So like with Blue Water, you know, the representative, I was like, do you live here? And he was like, no, I'm not from here.
I'm from Houston.
I'm from Houston.
And I'm not a realtor, so I don't know.
Yeah, because I asked, like, you know, how will this not just affect, you know, our communities, like health and all that, but how will it affect our property values? And then he was like, I'm not a realtor. I'm not from here. Like, get with the realtor. Like, I don't care. Like, you know, you're stuck with this problem. We just want to like build here because it's convenient for us. And, you know, the people here are buying like what we're trying to sell. Like, your politicians are hook, line, and sinker. So that's not my problem. That's your problem. And it's like, you know, my parents worked hard for that home, just like your parents, just like, you know, we like all worked hard.
And you get to where it's like, this is why we can't have nice things. So this is why we can't have nice things. They can have nice things. They can. Are they can have their lake house? You know, they can have nice things. We can't, because and I think that is one of the biggest things that I'm, you know, just not gonna be okay with ever, is this idea that's coming from not just the state, not just the port and the county and the city and all of these local people, lab people. But from the state, is that there just is no community there. It's like, in their responses to everything is no, people don't recreate there. That's not, they don't exist. And honestly, like, if you open a history book and like, that's the oldest trick in the book, to just deny that these people even exist and then put them to mine their own resources. That's like the oldest trick in the book, and that's exactly what's happening here. We have the port coming with a porta potty to teach kids how to work in those industries. And again, that's another topic as far as jobs and all of that, but for me personally, it's like, what are you taking from my children? You're taking from them that really life that you described, being able to just put their kayaks in the water, I think the youth today is dealing with things that we never dealt with. In 2020, my kids they lost a year of their lives, and there was really nowhere they could go. That bay became like their classroom, their therapy, their exercise, their gym, everything. When everything was closed, that is what they had. And now it's just being taken from them. It's just being taken from them and from all of the kids of that generation. They're not gonna have that anymore just because someone said, no, you don't live there, you don't kayak there, you don't fish there. That's not true. And we're sitting here showing them evidence and everything, but it's not true. You don't exist. Like I said, it's happened over and over and over and over and over again in history where people were literally in the way of something that empires needed to build on, and we're not going to stand for that. We're not going to stand for that. You don't do that. You're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. Just like they say it's coming and we're saying it's not. So your word, our word, we'll see.
I mean, there was that contradiction, right? Like in the city council where they said we had record numbers of visitors during the pandemic. Like we had this and that, like we had so many visitors because of the bay, where they come in because, oh, let's admire.
Let's
look-
use that. Excellence, giant flare from across the bay.
That was not what they were, that's not what. It was like, let's go fishing, let's spend time, let's create memories with our, families. Like, let's, go back and let's, really think about what matters to us.
Yeah.
And it was like that ability to spend time with your family and, like really recreate and love like nature.
There's my son's favorite thing in life is to get that kayak and go and just fish and catch something and bring it home and cook it for all of us to eat. And yes, we eat it. We do. We eat that food. I don't want that farm raised stuff from the store. I want fresh fish from the bay. That's what I want. And there's no reason why somebody should come and say everything in that bay is free for us. Let's just assume everything in that bay is free and it's ours for the taking. I mean, come on, come on. Let's not let this happen. It shouldn't happen. It's not good for our community. It's not good for our country. It's not good. It's not good for our environment. It's not good for our children. Let them have a choice. Let them have a choice of what they want to do, of what kind of life they want to live and what kind of town they want to live in. We're not even giving them a choice. We have, I'm sorry, not to be an ageist, but 70, 80-year-olds deciding to take that from them who aren't even going to be around. They're not, I'm sorry. It's a fact.
Or have people, they have the luxury of being able to go run away when things, like that was the other thing. We watched the video with Aquel Strawberry with Cornyn and Cruz. Like these people have the luxury of flying to places to escape, right? For a little bit of respite.
Yeah.
And the reality is that the coastal bend has even with us not taking care of it, it's so beautiful and people are drawn to it. And if we just invested in taking care of it the way that the city officials and the county officials want to take care of industry, like this is paradise.
Yeah.
It is paradise.
We're the sparkling city by the sea, right?
Yeah.
We're not like the sparkling city by the smokestack.
We're not. The sparkling city of Blair.
Sorry.
Sparkling.
I'm sorry. Sparkling city by the smokestack. Yes.
People that are all for this will be the first ones to turn around and say like Corpus is ghetto, Corpus is a dump, Corpus is this, and Corpus is that, and it's just like it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't.
It doesn't have to be. And if you don't see value here, then
And
go on down the road.
Corpus is like a community of like people just, who are working hard to put food on the table, who are taking care of the little that we are given, unfortunately. And that's another thing, like forget about us like saying, oh, we're given this, let's demand
Yeah.
better, like, because this is ours, this is our legacy, like what we fight for, what we do, this is our legacy, this is what we are leaving behind for our children and their children and all that, like, so it's like Corpus is, we have our roots here. And I'll be damned if I let somebody say, well, you're, we can sacrifice your community.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
Or your community doesn't even care. What community?
Yeah.
Right.
People live there by Laquito. What are people?
And that's the other thing with the funds, right? Like report your neighbors, report your, or report people that you see. Well, and on the one hand, you want people to be responsible, but what they want to do is they want to cultivate division and suspicion so that you're not talking to your neighbors, so that you don't have that sense of community that we're all in this together. Because if we don't have that, they can take advantage of it.
They divide us.
Yeah.
They divide us. One of the meetings that we went to, the first, one of the, and I'm gonna call him out, I think it was the mayor of Ingleside, I believe, came over there and said, if y'all don't, stop this or whatever, y'all are gonna have to be asked to leave because it's my understanding you're out of Portland. Well, okay, I'm very sorry to tell you, but Portland is stuck to Ingleside, and whatever y'all piss in the bay in Ingleside ends up right here in our backyard in Portland. So this dividing, this idea that we're this area and that area and this area, I mean, we're all connected. It's our city bringing the industries to Sandpad. It's our city giving them water. It's like I said, I live on the northwest side. There is absolutely nothing on the northwest side other than liquor stores and like, that's it, liquor stores and like O'Reilly's and car wash and car washes. Yeah, like, like Harvard, right? But
The pollution that eats away.
it's like,
Sorry.
leaving the northwest side and going to grandma and grandpa's in Portland over the bridge is more doable than driving to the island. And now they want to take that too, and it's just like, when does it stop? When does it stop? It doesn't. It didn't.
You know when it stops? It stops when we demand it to stop. But we have to have the people power, and we have to be on the same page, and you don't even be an expert to be able to say with authority, we don't want this.
Yeah.
You just have to be a person.
Yeah, because I mean, look at the experts, and like it took experts to build or design the plans for that bridge.
Sorry.
What can the experts accomplish that we the people cannot let?
I'm glad that you bring that up, because I think that's a great thing. I think right now with the elections coming around, campaign season starting, I think there's this idea among our community that our leaders are like the Wizard of Oz, like they know something we don't, like they have some sort of knowledge, they have some sort of experience. I'm here to tell you all, they don't. Okay, here, they touch on things, they scratch the surface of things, and that's what they do. And I guess that's what leaders and politicians do. I can't fault them for that, I guess. But here's the thing, they're out of their league. There are things that are over their heads. These companies come in and they set this up to where they are basically the middleman. They're the buffer between us and the kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Right.
They're the buffer between us and Flatiron Bragados. When I say out of their league, I'm saying, and just the little that I'm gonna call him our engineer read from the TxDOT report. This is a company that's just thumbing their nose at TxDOT.
Yeah, they're like, no, we don't need to
And
answer
it's
that.
my understanding that TxDOT is one of the, if not the most powerful organization in Texas, as far as just, it's TxDOT. They are telling TxDOT, if you don't like it, see you in court. I mean, packing up in the middle of the night, leaving. There's a reason that we had 2 senators and how many reps show up here. If they do that to an organization like TxDOT and politicians probably at the level of Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
What is Labs Canales, what is Mayor Guajardo, what is Mike Pusley gonna do when we're stuck here with a desal plant that's not working?
Right.
That's jammed up because they refused to listen to true experts who aren't trying to sell them something. Maybe that's another thing.
Right.
There's experts and then there's experts who are trying to sell you something and are giving you a sales pitch.
Well, that's the other thing too, because actually, I mean, the reason why they're able to be run over is one, they don't center the people. So the people that are in office right now are the
Yes.
people who can be bought, who have been bought and sold. But also, I don't think they read.
No,
I don't think they read.
no.
And I'm gonna say that, I don't think any of the elected officials that we have read. They just have friends in positions of power and they listen to them.
One of the most offensive things that I think I ever heard from that council was, when I first, I know you guys have been doing it for years. When we first brought up the desal, one of them made the comment that half these people don't even know where that is. When you grew up fishing and kayaking and you know that your parents came to this country with nothing, you know where it is, okay? You all don't know where it is.
Right.
You all don't know where you went and stuck that. You all didn't read. Okay, so yeah, you get to the point where you start thinking, you know what, enough of your foot on me, get it off.
Yeah.
You're not smarter than me. You don't know more than people, than these roadblocks who are what? Retired engineer, a lot of them have worked in this. And they know this is not gonna work. It's like the bridge, it's not gonna work. And so we plow through, we do it, we sell it to the community. We promise that water, and what's gonna happen the day the desal plant doesn't work, the way our water treatment plant doesn't work,
Right.
or the way the bridge didn't work, or the way airline didn't work? What happens then when the water's already promised? Do you think that they're gonna put Exxon on restrictions? Do you think that Exxon's gonna be snitching on Valero? No, it all comes back to us snitching on each other and
Those quick quacks are gonna become our water stations. They're like, no, but mark my words, guys.
the restrictions will come to us.
Yeah, and they signed those contracts. Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead, do it,
Okay.
say it.
They signed those contracts with the belief that people weren't gonna be paying attention, that they could just steamroll through all of this. They signed those long-term contracts saying, we're gonna be able to provide you with this much water. Because yeah, we'll run it through and sell to the community that we need desal and it's for them. We'll like exploit, we'll take advantage of it and we'll withhold information because, people aren't paying attention.
Right,
And that's changing, we have that platform.
yeah.
We need to pay attention and, it's up to us,
Yeah, there's there's two types of power. There's monetary power and there's people power. And, Cheniere, Exxon, that other
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
Dragos,
Like, where is this?
Steel Dynamics,
Yeah.
Valero, they have money and they can buy, but we have people power. And when you don't have that kind of money, which we don't, what we need is our people power, and people power changes the world. So we need you to voice your position about desal. There's a Texas Campaign for the Environment. There's a local group here. Well, it's a local chapter of Texas Campaign for the Environment. They've actually organized a event that's denounced desal. So there is a city council meeting on August 30th. We would like you all to voice your position around desal and let city council know that you do not want them basically kowtowing to more industry expanding, because ultimately that water is not for us, it's for industry. And they're going to be making budget decisions. We've been putting more and more pressure, and we know that we're putting pressure because now they're just like straight out lying about things. And so just keep up the pressure. We don't know when the change is going to happen, but change is happening. And so you have to keep trying. The only way we fail is if we stop trying. So we really need you guys to participate in the Denounce Desal event. We will have a link to that on this in Serio at the bottom, but we're also going to have a link to Mr. Burns that's from The Simpsons.
If I might add real
Yeah,
quick
yeah.
on the budget, the figure that they're peddling around town for a desal plant is nuts. They're in la la land. That quarter billion, which is already a lot,
Yeah.
that they're saying those are pre-pandemic prices. There are all kinds of supply chain shortages. There are all kinds of issues. I personally know people that had to sit weeks without hot water during the freeze, because there's a shortage of implements, there's a shortage of, and I'm not an expert, but that, no.
Yeah.
And we can maybe follow up with cost
Okay.
one day,
Yeah,
but
cost
the
and
figures that they're peddling around town for their desal plant are pre-pandemic, 2018, they're lies. They're not gonna build half of desal with that amount of.
Right, so you need to, we wanted you to watch this video. It's actually the city's pick for Commissioner Engel. He's gonna tell you about the water. He reminds me, when you see him, he reminds me of Mr. Burns from from The Simpsons, Homer's boss. So, en serio, I already told you, I'm just getting you ready. Go to the bottom, watch the video, and he'll tell you what that water's for.
He'll tell you what it's for, and he'll tell you how much we need.
Straight out of the horse's mouth.
Mhm. Or Mr.
Lizard.
Burns is- Okay, all right, so look out for the event. Please participate. We need voices because that's where our power is derived from. And change is gonna happen. We have to keep pushing for it. So we need to wrap it up, but this was fun. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye. I forgot to, I was supposed to show the video.